Very good morning. So another day out today. We're filming. It's John. Hi John. We've got a number of videos. A number of locations we're gonna be visiting today. And the first one, we're in front of this magnificent old engine shed structure. And this is a little place called Dinting. We're going to be having a few things today, so they're all going to be different videos. We're going up to see Godley Turntable and a little bit of Mottram Yard, but we're starting in Dinting and having a look around of the old site of the Dinting Yard and what used to be the Dinting Railway Centre. Now, a lot of you may know, you might follow the Facebook or the Instagram. I'm currently going through all my dad's photographs, my late father and my late mother as well, all their photographs. They have got thousands of old railway photography that they collected for decades. And I came here as a young child, and I have seen the photographs of this site on family days out. Sometime in the 80s, so I would have been about 7 or 8 years old. I cannot find those photographs for the life of me. I don't know if I've just not come across them yet. That's very frustrating because I do have memories of coming here as a small child. Although you'll hear me refer to the Dinting Railway Centre throughout this video, its history stretches back longer than this. The engine shed itself was built by the Manchester, Sheffield and Lincolsnire Railway, later known as the Great Central Railway. The shed was completed in 1898. Dinting is on the triangle on what was well known as the Woodhead line, just at its junction with the spur to Glossop. Here's the station and here's the old engine shed. If we take a look at where this sits on the wider network, it's just on the Manchester side of the Woodhead route between the west and east of the Pennines. The shed sat derelict after 1954, which is around the time that the Woodhead line became electrified. It gained a new lease of life after the arrival of the Dinting Railway Centre in the late 1960s. The centre was run by the Bahamas Locomotive Society and had a tidy little setup, but for various reasons, including disputes with the landowners, the centre closed in 1990. So we're just walking our way up what would have been the track entrance. Plenty of ballast still down here. And we're coming up to the site. I can start to see buildings in front. This one's a really strange one for me because I've just been telling John, I remember coming here as a child, 7 or 8, around about, I really don't know what year it was, mid to late 80s, and I know this shut down around 1990-ish. But I remember coming to an open day. I remember the steam trains. And a little miniature railway. So to come here now and just see the woods, and it's probably one of the first places I've been where I remember it as an open railway. A lot of the places I go have long been closed or I've never experienced them. So here's a platform here. Someone said this was for coal or something, was it? I could be wrong. Coal store maybe. What's it say on there?
Accrington.
Okay. So there's the engine shed. The old rails. So let's have a look. Let's have a look in the engine shed. So it's really nice, isn't it? Right. I saw some photographs from about a year ago John, this is actually quite clean. Somebody's, there was tents, the inspection pit in front of us there that was just completely full of rubbish. I mean, there's still lots of fittings. I mean, 1990 is not that long ago, is it, for something to be in use? So we've still got, looks like a cabinet on the wall there, maybe for electrics. And there's the inspection pit in the middle. Beautiful windows.
Something smoking here.
Oh, so there has been some use. There was a chap just coming out, weren't there? Could be a cigarette from him. Yeah, it's like there's been a party here last night. All the bottles of bud. A room on the side here. I mean, this is only from what I've been reading, people's accounts of the sites. There are a few online I have read before coming here. If this was the mess hut or the staff room on the side of the shed. Quite a lot of asbestos kicking around as well. Spend all day looking around here, couldn't you? I have to admit, I am, especially reading some of the things I read about this place, after my experience at the Fiery Jack Tunnel in Sheffield, I am always a little bit apprehensive about coming into derelict places like this. I don't know why. Sure, there's nothing to worry about.
I've sacrificed.
Oh, it's not worked. We are a bit concerned about this. I've got no water on me at the minute, but that's definitely, it's not fire, but there's something smouldering away there. Looks like the old wood on the side of the inspection pit. I'll have to see if we can get some water and just put on that. Make sure that's out before we go. I don't want to be reading in the news tomorrow
Yeah.
that this is burnt down. I think we're going to be prime candidates if that's the case. It's still got fittings and things there. See what would have held the tracks. So there's the platform we were just stood on, just at the start there. Is that a vacuum pipe? So we can still see the holders, the hinge, what they're called, for the doors on the front of the engine shed there. Look, another one at the bottom. We've got an electricity bracket or a telegraph bracket up there with an insulator still attached. I could spend all day just poking around a site like this, trying to uncover things. Saying to John, we're in danger of kind of rushing through this today because we've got other things that we need to get on and look at with limited daylight. That's just a beautiful structure, isn't it? That I do believe you never never know what you read on the internet is 100% true, but this land was bought for housing, but they couldn't get planning permission, and it's just laid derelict ever since. It's not the easiest place to wade around, to be honest. Just trample down a lot of this. Looks like another recess here. I have to bring up some old photographs, see if I can figure out what these bits were. So we're just moving through the site, and are we going up there, John? Are we coming back to that?
Maybe come back to that.
Come back to that. There's a ramp there. That's intriguing me, but there's something else down here John wants to show me, so we'll come back to that ramp. So this more modern looking shed was added some years later by the railway centre. We can see on this great old aerial photograph, we can see that new shed just up the line from the old shed where we've just been looking around. Right, so this is the base, is it then?
Yeah, this is like concrete base of what's left. Effectively, you probably would have come in here. This was where they kept a lot of their big engines.
They did have some decent sized engines as well, didn't they?
What was the famous one?
Bahamas, I'm sure. Now, I don't know if this is my memory playing tricks on me. Sure, I remember when I came there was an A4. It's a long one, isn't it? A couple of steam engines in here, carriages. So there's 2 roads, isn't there?
Oh no, I think there's 3.
3. Oh, there's one on this side as well.
I think so.
Oh yeah, it's just overgrown. There is the kind of vegetation and these offensive plants that hurt. They've kind of encroached, haven't they, onto this side. Those bits, those raised areas, the platforms between the lines on here. If you ever go to the railway open days at the engine shed, I remember seeing these at Tinsley, for example. So all this result of a demolition, is that from the shed we've just been walking through, or is it something else that was built just at the end of the shed? So the station is just through there. You can see the building there just through the trees. That's the old station building, one of the old station buildings, should I say. Something wooden there. You can see there's like an entranceway, or there's like a wooden wall and a roof. So is that a room? Is that something with the building on the lower side? I really don't know. So there's going to be people watching this who will remember quite vividly what all this was, and I'd love to hear from people. Just fill in the blanks. It's not always easy to try and put 2 and 2 together on sites like this. Just looking back down towards the engine shed, and this rubble continues. So here's the back. I'll start over here. Lots of buildings and things coming at me. It's difficult to know where to point the camera. So yeah, we're at the other side of the station there. Just check the car's still there. So these are the old, you can see similar station buildings the other side. This one's in no fit state now. There we can see inside. Fireplace. Is there a waiting room perhaps? Right on cue. The nose in here. Yes, that's the adjoining beam that linked the two buildings. Very typical building. I mean, if anyone wants a working example, well, actually, you don't have to look on that side. But as soon as I saw it with the twin buildings in the middle, a bit here, Woodhouse Station, I've spent many times sat waiting for trains. Wow, what's that in the fireplace?
That's crud. It's come down.
Right, it's come down the chimney.
No, it's
Fluff as well. Feathers.
oh yeah, well,
Bits of nests.
bird crud.
It's a bird nest.
It's still like it last time.
I have pillows in here. It's like somebody's been sleeping in here.
Oh really?
I'm assuming it's got plumbing in there. That's.
A little room like this.
I think that is a toilet.
Fire into the toilet.
So here's the old station building. We've just been poking around outside. So that's the old station, or one of the old station buildings. And again, it's just difficult to know where to point the camera. It's can be overwhelming. There's another brick outbuilding here. What could this have been?
Similar brick, so probably same period.
It does, doesn't it? Going back to the old Manchester, Sheffield and Lincolnshire Railway days. What could this have been? Another fireplace.
So we're trying to work out what is from the railway centre and what was from the original railway.
Yeah. Again, more buildings, all the same brickwork. I mean, there could have been support buildings.
So it's like they've put an extra line in the
Yeah, quite a little complex just on the side of the station. All these little pipe work laid on the floor there. So while we are here, it's interesting just to get a look at this overhead line equipment. The old stanchions and posts. See how different they are. Obviously these are the original Woodhead ones, I'd guess. So that looks like a platform edge, that, doesn't it?
So this is obviously all built for the...
Yeah, a more modern... Yeah, you can see it's a different era, isn't it? So that's a ramp going up onto what I'm assuming is that platform. Can't believe how much is here. So this looks like a boundary wall, doesn't it? You can see a definite line of a path there going down, so coming round.
They accumulated little runs up to the where we came in and back.
Yeah, you say little runs, I mean it wasn't a railway, it was just literally shunting up and down a yard, wasn't it? Old CD there. Oh, quite know what that is.
This is quite distinctive.
Oh, an archway.
Yeah, when you see old pictures, you can see where this went. I think it was like a regal sort of arch that marked your entrance onto the platform.
So we've just come up the ramp, or what you'd call a ramp, that little short ramp, just there on the top of what we believe was the old platforms. We kind of know it was the old platforms.
Yeah, it definitely was. See better than it.
See that bit, can't you? Look where that would have joined on. So we're stood on top of the platform for the railway centre. Just looking over. I don't know which side, if both sides, platforms. They do, both sides of this do seem to have a distinct platform edge, John, don't they?
Yeah, I think
That side seems to have a bit more of an overhang when we were stood underneath it than this side. And here's the little station area, so it's not visible on this old footage as we see people boarding the train via the steps rather than a platform area. Visitors could get rides on the footplate of a steam loco up and down the yard, and also, as seen here, in a guard's van. And this does confirm that tracks ran both sides of that platform. Big wooden blocks laid on the side. We're assuming that we're speculating possible car park or something to stop people heading down there. Those arches, that's the start of the Dinting Viaduct. And there's a bit of curbing down here, evidence of tarmac at one time. So I'm guessing we stood round about where the track went down to that platform. Got a recess just through here. It's a collection of old shopping trolleys, rusty shopping trolleys. So yeah, another little recess. Finding quite a few of these. And I'd normally suggest signal boxes. I don't know what was around this. And the end of that platform we've just been stood on is just pointing in that direction. So yeah, something line side. What are you uncovering there, John?
I don't know.
Something
metallic.
Okay.
Not just a fence pole. It's got a different shape to it.
It's amazing how much. 30 years doesn't sound like a long time, does it? Well within living memory for both of us, but how an area can change so much in 30 years. I'm glad to say that fire, that smouldering has gone out now. Right, so I teased you earlier about this ramp that went up. Yeah, the good chase, so we're just off up here now. Just to have a look what's at the top side of the yard. Probably the thing that I remember most about coming here was they had a miniature railway that went round the side, and it was one of those that you sat on and dangled your legs either side of the track. So it's the upper level now. It's got these posts here. Now, I've just mentioned about the miniature railway, haven't I? And we believe what we've got here is some evidence, some remains. I'm not entirely sure. Are they supporting something like a platform or maintenance area? Is that a step? But we've got this little line of concrete, or like bases of something. And I'm wondering if these are the supports for the railway line, because if I follow you up the trajectory of where these posts are pointing, I may be well off with my assumption here. It's what we both think. We've got a channel down here. We've got a little cutting. Let's put the camera down at a lower level. Can you see this? Like a channel going through the woods. I think this is a track bed of the old railway, the old disused railway. But it is disused, but the old miniature railway, disused miniature railway. I keep referring back to my visit here, and things are, you know how things come back to you. You kind of come to a place, doesn't really, there's no resemblance to when I was here. It's changed, unrecognisable. But I remember seeing the railway line at the side as well, because that's where Dinting station, just over there, is where we would have got off the train that day. I've just had another flashback actually. It used to be Bahamas Railway Society. No, Bahamas Locomotive Society that was based here. That was the flagship loco. I do remember it moved from here 1990-ish and moved to the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway. And I remember when it arrived at the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway, we actually went on a day trip to see Bahamas at the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway on its first run there. A little bit of infrastructure too, supporting all this. Looks like this looks a bit of crossing perhaps or something. There's steps there and there's steps at that side as well. And it's got into quite a bit of a cutting. It's hard to just get my head around the fact as a small child I'd have ridden on this disused railway line. You see the curve and the retaining wall on the other side there. Wow, this is a weird explore. We started off looking at the old engine shed and we're now tracing the course of a disused miniature railway. So we're in the cut-in. Here's the retaining wall curving round. And there's the end of the wall. And we're just coming back round to where we saw those other concrete posts in the ground just before. Take one last look at the old engine shed before we move on to our next destination. So yeah, I'm sorry if I've gone on a little bit about my memories of my previous visit here. It's just really strange coming back somewhere like that I've not been to for 30 something years. Wow, 30 something years. Right, so I hope you've enjoyed that tour round Dinting. We're off now to do the next video down at, we're getting a train to Godley, aren't we now? Godley now. So cheers for watching and we'll see you on the next one.